This is great. It's a great day off. No, dude!
Sup, little beach?
Dude, life's a beach and you're here, dude!
Football, football. Football, football, football. Football, football, football. Football, football, football. Football, football.
Welcome to this edition of the CRFFL. Hey, look, we know we've been here all season. We've been doing this all season, and it's time to make a pivot. It's time to make a transition because guess what time it is? It's playoff time, baby. We got 4 weeks ahead of us. Will and I have clinched. We are in the playoffs, and we are transitioning. We are not breaking down what has happened, but we are going ahead, and we are putting on the future glasses. We are looking forward into what do you need to do? What do you need to do to get ready to get yourself in playoff contention, move up the ladder, and maybe make a name for yourself in the CRFFL? And we're going to get into it. So we're going to break down each team looking ahead at the next 4 weeks and what do they need to do to best position themselves to finish at the top. Will, how are we feeling tonight in this lovely CRFFL season?
Well, it's just feeling so good. I feel like I need to bring the sunglasses back because here's where it comes down, Mike. They made fun of us. Oh, the boys lost, yada, yada, yada. But when it comes back to it, and in the end, the boys are the only people secured in the playoffs. So when everyone's like, who do you think you are telling me how to run my team? I think the stat line, I think the fact that we've clinched the playoffs proves it. And that is, again, we decided to mix it up, like Mike said, and we are going to break down your team. And we're going to say, you know what? For some of you, this is how you get the bye that you want, that free week bye in the playoffs, and at least guarantee a third round fight at worst and maybe get your money back. For some people, how do you stop the bleeding to where you don't have to take the ACT or you don't have to flip a Jersey Mike sign? How can we help you? And then finally, the most important, how are you going to get those last few playoff spots? Because 2 are down and there are only 4 left. And it's going to be great. I can't wait to switch it up a little bit,
Commodities are getting tight. All I know is tariff is the best word in the English language, and it seems like things in the trade are tightening up. Got 4 spots, 2 are gone. Who's going to grab them? So, Will, you're going to lead us off. We're going to break down what we would like to say Tier A, then we're going to jump down to Tier C, and then we're going to finish up with Tier B. So, for the first team in Tier A, we're going to start with Mike's Magical Milkman. What's the look ahead look like, Will?
Mike's Magical Milkmen, currently number 1 in the league at a solid 8-2. Points scored 1,963 out of a possible maximum 2,114. Points against 17-18. Mike's been looking pretty solid coming after the win against El Toro, breaking up her back-to-back win against the Girly Girls, really getting smacked up. Mike's next matchups for week 11, the man is going against yours truly, big old Tumnus, a.k.a. Barbs, when I changed my name and changed my profile pic. A Clash of the Titans, 1st and 2nd, so that's going to be a really hard matchup. Going into week 12, goes against Joel. Sutton smells like Shaheed. Going into week 13, goes against Rev Kev. And then finally, week 14, goes against Caleb. So a nice little mixture of very hard yet very easy. Mike, if you want to break down your team, who do you think in your team are your strengths? Who do you think your weaknesses are? And how can you make sure that you keep that number 1 spot?
Yeah, I think my biggest weakness, I would say, on my team was really getting through this week with El Toro. I had some key players on bye. I weathered the storm, and I got the win. I think if I was going to catch an L, this would be the time to do it.
Yep.
I had a good week, and it just kind of sucks for Tori that the Eagles-Packers game was an absolute joke, and Jalen Hurts put up points. So it just kind of sucks for her. She couldn't really get a win there. But Yeah, I think my fear is Justin Herbert has been great all season, and obviously the Chargers have struggled with injuries. I don't want that to carry over into the playoffs because I need him scoring. I don't like seeing him score 22 points this week. I need to see him scoring in the 30s for my team to really have the juice it needs to win. Also, Rico, he's been good. I need the Panthers to finish strong, and they have a lot to play for, so I feel good about that. Quentin Johnson, he's obviously, I kind of like hitched my boat to him and then moved off Lad. That was not the right move, so that kind of sucks. But outside of that, I don't feel bad about my team. Defense is an area I can improve at, but bright spots for me is Joe Burrow is coming back Thanksgiving, which could be a boost to Jamar Chase. And I am really hoping Omarion Hampton is going to come back in right in time for a playoff run. So those are two spots that I'm looking at moving forward. And as I look at my schedule of the next 4 games, this week's a big game for both of us. We're both tied for the top. And whoever wins this game is going to pretty much clinch first place, I feel like, unless you fall apart. I think that can win against Joel, Kevin, and Caleb closing out the season. So I'm really looking at next week's game between us as the deal breaker for me. But that's kind of where I feel how my breakdown is looking at my team moving forward to close the season out.
Yeah, I think that's fairly accurate. I mean, when it comes to looking at your team, I kind of don't know. I don't know where you can improve. I think you really do have the scariest team out here because even in your weak team, you're scoring 179. There are some people in this league that would dream to consistently score in the high 170s, low 180s. I have always made fun of your running backs, saying your running backs are your weak points. Your running backs absolutely dominate this week. And on top of that, you have Rashee Rice, who was on his bye, who's been doing great since he has finally been able to play. And again, Omarion Hampton, right now, it looks like he's not going to play next week. They have the bye the week after. 3 weeks from now, when you go up against, I think, Kevin, you should be able to use Omarion Hampton. So he's coming in right around the Kevin to Caleb time, really coming up online. And really when it comes down to it, Justin Herbert, I think the 22 points was a one-off. I think he's going to be an absolute solid quarterback. I mean, this has been one of his weakest performances. He's still a number 3 QB in the ratings. Your wide receivers, again, you can drop Quentin Johnston, but again, Jamar Chase, George Pickens are on reserves. Your tight end situation with Brock Bowers has been such a boom or bust, but Terry McBride has been fantastic. So it really kind of comes down to, like, you just need to make sure. I think you already have the pieces. I don't think you can optimize any higher unless you fleece someone in a trade. It's really down to who do you play in your flex positions. I think that's what really comes down to it. And then it's kind of just hoping that the fates of fantasy don't fall upon you, where Jamar Chase, who is a fantastic wide receiver, just has a bad week. Mm-hmm. Or a Justin Herbert, who's been a number 3 quarterback, doesn't have a 22-point game, where it's just like it's an off game. Like, that's kind of, you're now, it's like, oh, hey, let me optimize, and now let me just pray that it doesn't go my way. Everything goes my way, and I don't get screwed over by a Green Bay versus Philadelphia game where no one's winning in the fantasy pool right now. So that'd be my overall thing. I think if I'm predicting the next 3, I don't see you draw. I honestly think I probably have the best chance of beating you, and I am nervous about that game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it out either.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on to you.
Yeah, we're moving on.
The next. Yeah.
Big old Tumnus, a.k.a. for this week, Celeste Williams. Next week is going to be Barbara Stemler, a.k.a. Barbs, a.k.a. Queen Energy. Currently 8-2 as well. Scoring a total of 1,910 points. Only 53 points less than Mike. That is the difference between Mike and I right now and why we both have clinched. Out of a maximum 1,997, points against 1,735. Upcoming matches for Big Ol' Tumnus, as we talked about in Mike's edition. I'm playing against Mike this upcoming week. I think it's a clash of the Titans, and the last time we battled each other, I think I lost to you by 2 points. So hopefully it's going to be a close game like that. Going into week 12, I go against El Toro, a.k.a. my sleeper pick. Week 13, I go against my Balzac Ertz, who has been having an absolute Cinderella story. Will he continue that? We'll talk about that later. And then into week 14, I go against Gordzilla, current last place anchor, holding up the rear. What do you think about my team? Where do you think I can benefit? Where do you think I am struggling right now?
I don't see a weak spot on your team right now. And I think one of the biggest things that you have to look forward to is you potentially are getting Bucky Irving coming back to close out this season.
Please.
And another thing that I think is huge for your team is Dan Campbell taking over the offensive play calling for the Detroit Lions. You saw with Jahmyr Gibbs getting 46 points against the Commanders. I think it's a huge thing. I will say, I think that maybe hurts Sam Laporta a little bit because I think Dan Campbell's going to really give Jahmyr Gibbs the rock. So you might see some drop off in production from Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think it's a better thing for your team, which is great. Also, you already got the bye from Patrick Mahomes behind you, and and this is the other thing that's scary about Patrick Mahomes right now and the Chiefs. They cannot coast into the playoffs.
No.
So it's going to be foot on the gas, throttle time.
They're currently third in the AFC West.
They got to get wins, which is great for your team. And just like me, you're potentially getting the boost of Joe Burrow coming back for T. Higgins. Yeah. So I really don't see a big weak spot in your team. I think you have a lot of really promising things going on. You have done a great job at optimizing your lineup, and I think you just need to keep doing what you're doing. So I feel like you have the gas to beat my team this week. I'm worried about the game this week because you're getting a rested Patrick Mahomes coming off of a bye.
Yeah. And
that is something that worries me.
They do go against Denver, though, and Denver has a very good defense.
But that's a divisional game. And Patty Mahomes, are they playing in Denver or in Arrowhead?
It is at Denver.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better. But, you got a Super Bowl winning quarterback going against Bo Nix. So I think that it could be a very big week for Patrick Mahomes, and I think you could get the sauce to take me down. So I think obviously reading out those games, I wouldn't be too worried about finishing out the season. I think obviously both of us, we're in the same boat for us. I think this week's game is the big one for us, who's going to be the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. And we're just going to have to go head to head. Yeah. And no better way, but besides the boys being back in town, already clinched the playoffs.
I play the same game, but I can't.
I think people are talking about the NFL script, but let's talk about the CRFFL script.
The Podcast Bois script.
The Podcast Bois making stuff happen. So, that's kind of how I feel about your team. What's your thoughts?
I'm not going to deep dive into it. I think besides Katie, I am also up in competition with probably some of the best running back pairings. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolutely fantastic quarterback, ranked 4th behind a few. But Jalen Warren and DeAndre Swift have been fantastic additions and really have come alive. JSN has been unbelievable. I never would have guessed JSN, who I picked up in the 4th round, would be the number 1 wide receiver for this year's fantasy. He might have to be my keeper. I have no clue. It's very, I just don't know what to do. I think the biggest thing is, like you said, I think tight end might be my weakness with this new Dan Campbell offense. We'll see how it goes, especially now that Oronde Gaston got injured. I don't know when Oronde Gaston comes back. I want to hold on to him, but I can't. I have to play Sam Laporta next week. Like, I don't have a choice. I don't know what other tight end I can go. I might look at the waivers to see if I can pick up somebody. We'll see. And then it's really just kind of comes to for me, it's the flex consistency. Jordan Addison, I don't like seeing 3 out of 11 receptions. That concerns me. Juwan Jennings has, for the past 2 weeks, really come alive, which has been fantastic. Jacoby Myers goes from the drought of the Raiders to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not much better, but will that be an improvement? We'll see. Bucky Irving, I'm just praying for this man to he was my keeper, and he did so well in the beginning, and it's just been nothing but buy, and he's not expected to play against our matchup in week 11. So that's another week of not having Bucky as an option. So it's really going to be, how can I optimize my flex area specifically to really get the most points that I can and optimize everything properly to really, at least if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out swinging against you. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty confident if I don't beat you and I can't get that number 1 seed, I need to go for second. I really want that bye week. That is what I want to go for. So I think I got the tools to do it. It's just, again, it's just like you. It's optimizing, maybe trading out the defense if I can find a better defense option, maybe looking for a better tight end if Sam Laporta is going to suffer.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, moving on. This is where things start to get a little interesting.
Yes.
So let's look at Heather's team and what does it look like going forward for her?
Heather's Haterade coming off a win. Or was it a win? No, it wasn't.
Yep, she got a win.
Yeah, it was coming off a win against Team Rev Kev. Pretty decent one. Moving herself up to 7-3. Heather's Haterade total points for 1,863 out of a possible 2,089. Points against 1,706. Heather's upcoming matches. In week 11, Heather is going up against Gordzilla, the anchor. In week 12, Heather then goes over and battles my ballsackers. I can never say it I can never be serious with it. It's a crazy name, Sean. Heather then goes against Caleb, Team Leslibre. And then in week 14, Heather goes against Joel. Sutton smells like Shaheed. Arguably, probably the easiest next 4 weeks of the season out of any manager. How does that look for her potential of getting that bye week?
Well, let's just talk about it because I think that the potential for getting it is really real. I mean, because here's the reality. Me or you is going to lose this week.
Yep.
So one of us is dropping to 8-3. 8-3. It looks like she's going to get a win. So she's moving to 8.
7-3. 7-3? No, 8-3. You're right.
8-3. She's 7-3. So it looks like she's going to get a win. So she'll potentially move to 8-4 to tie record wise. I don't know. I think I have wins over her. Has she beaten you?
Well, no. I don't think it goes by wins. I think it goes by points for and then points against.
Is it by points for and points against? Okay.
So it would tie up, but we have a fairly comfortable lead. You have about 100 points on her for points for, and I have about 50 points for. So if she goes to 200 point club next week against Gordon, and we barely scratch 100. I mean, she can catch that up. She could at least catch up to me and maybe get second at the end of next week.
Yeah. It doesn't look like you or I are going to get another loss to end the season, but it could happen. Our schedules are harder than her schedule.
100%.
To close the season. So she needs to blow up and she needs to win. She needs to win by big margins. The only thing that's going to hurt her is this week, Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor are on bye. So she has to sit them. Now, I still think she gets to win against Gordon.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an issue.
It's probably the perfect person to go against.
But the thing that hurts her is it's going to limit her scoring, which is what she needs for the tiebreaker against me or you.
Yeah.
Because one of us is going to have a tied record with her. So she has to have blow up potential. And really the only thing I think she can hope for is if Joe Burrow comes out and just starts being just
starts slinging it.
Which it could happen, but that's a long shot. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. It's just going to come down. I think she's going to win out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just going to come down to how much her team can blow up to close the season out to see if she can creep in to that playoff spot. But that also means that me and you have to basically have bad performances too. And we just went through our teams and all of our marquee players, they are through their buys.
Yeah.
And her marquee players, Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor, they have a bye this week. So I think it's a very big long shot for her to get that bye week spot, but it's not out of the question.
Yeah. And I think overall, I mean, this just shows right here why it's very important that not only to get the win, but also to make sure that you optimize your team for the most amount of points possible. Because if you look at it, the max technically if we all we maximized and we're 100% accurate on everything, now which granted we can't because that's obviously we're predicting, who's going to do better on the day. So it's not really against her, but like if we just went with max 4, she would be slotted right behind you by only 20 to 30 points. And I would be in third place. If, next week we all just bump up, and I get the loss and she gets the win. She would bump up in a second just like that. That is why maximizing your points are very important. And that's where I kind of have that safety in the bank because I've only dropped 87 points over the entire season.
Yeah.
And I think this just shows how competitive the league is right now because we're talking about Heather going a total of 11-3 and maybe getting a bye week.
Yeah. And I can't knock her for the point scoring thing because the reality is you look at this past week, Matt Stafford scored 42 points. Daniel Jones scored 20.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and that's been a struggle points for her out for there. So long.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I'm starting Daniel Jones. Like I'm not starting Matt Stafford. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Colts are on fire and
they are.
And Daniel Jones could be the NFL MVP this year, which is hilarious. So anyway, all right. Well, moving on. Now we're jumping to tier C, the bottom, because here's the reality, Will.
Tell me.
No one is out of the playoffs yet. When you look at the app, when you look at
no one's eliminated.
When you look at the playoff bracket, no one is eliminated from playoffs. So even if you're in this tier C group, you're in the bottom, you can still find a way in. You got to get a lot of help. You can still find your way in. So we're going to jump down to tier C, and we're going to go all the way down
to the bottom.
To our new father, to the man, the myth, the legend, Gordzilla. Welcome to fatherhood. If you thought you were tired before, you're going to be tired now. So here we go.
You had free time. You thought you didn't have free time before.
You thought you didn't have free time before. You sure as hell ain't got it now. So so here we go. Let's dive in. Let's see what we got looking forward for the Gordzilla, the dad of the year.
Let me take my sunglasses off for a second because it's bleak. I got to read this. Monsieur Gordzilla, 2-8 record on a 4 loss on the trot. And lost this week to not who else but the previous father of the anchor of the bottom of the barrel, my ballsack Ertz. Gordon, you've scored 1,388 points this season out of a maximum possible 1,662, and you've had 1,765 points scored against you. Surprisingly, not the most points against on the bottom 3 that we're talking about. Gordon's upcoming games in week 11 goes against Heather's Haterade. A tough matchup, but not impossible because, as we said, Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor, bye weeks. Week 12 goes against Team Rev Kev. Not a hard matchup again, but he has been faltery a little bit. Week 13 goes against Katie. Another hard matchup. And week 14, our good friend goes against me. So just like we talked about Heather having probably the easiest final four games of the season, Gordon probably has the hardest if he substituted Kevin with you, technically per standings. That would be the hardest match, hardest 4 weeks. What do we say, Mike? What do we do?
That was one of the most bleak things you could have broken down. I mean, Gordon basically has to win out to get in the playoffs and have a lot of help from the top teams to lose. And it's literally the thing you just read is the exact opposite of what we just read for Heather. You read out Heather's and you're like, that makes me feel like gumdrops and lollipops. You read out Gordon's, you're like, that is a shit show right there. So I don't really know what to tell him. I think what he's got to do, he's got to just buckle up and start evaluating his team for who he wants to keep for next year. And, he needs to pick up a kicker this week. His kicker's on bye. And if I'm Gordon, I'm doing anything I can do to try to position my team to win the loser's bracket. because it's just, I mean, you can't live in fantasy land. You got to embrace the inevitable. You're not going to win. You're not going to get in the playoffs. So you just got to kind of like, especially with the schedule you have ahead of you. I mean, you're playing four of the top five teams. Like, it's just not going to happen for you. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but you got to start evaluating who you want to keep for next year and thinking about that.
Who would you keep if you
team,
if you were in Gordon's position?
That's
who
the thing.
Would you keep?
It's bleak. It's not because the way we're going to do keepers next year, it's just not. I don't even know if I'm keeping Genty
because he's second round.
Yeah,
you're giving up a second round spot for Genty.
Yeah, and he's not worth it. So, yeah, I mean, maybe he looks to do a trade. Like, that's the thing. Maybe he mortgages his team for next year. Maybe he tries to trade Genty and get a couple of like a first round pick next year or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he looks to do that. But again, you don't. But here's the thing.
Smart.
It is. But here's the thing. You don't want to lose the losers bracket.
Yeah. So it's like, who are you going to give up for a first round pick?
If he starts mortgaging his team, you're basically saying, I'm going to go sit at a Waffle House. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah,
I don't know.
It's hard. He has to decide that this week too. He can't wait until
because this is the final week for trades.
Because I mean, like, who can he trade? He could trade Drake May and go pick up a quarterback from the waivers. He could trade Genty. I think some people would pick up Metcalf. I think people would pick up Rome Unsday. I don't think DJ Moore's questionable. So it's yeah. I mean, at this point, it's really Drake May. It's Drake May. It's Genty. It's Rome. Those would be like my top three. Maybe DK as well. See if you can trade just for a first round or maybe a second round. I don't think these are worth first round picks, but maybe they're worth a second or a third round pick. If you get a couple, because again, we've talked about you can pick up diamonds. Like, you don't need a first round pick to win this league. I'm leading my wide receivers with someone I picked up in the 4th round. So maybe you trade a Rome Unsday, maybe you trade a DJ Moore, maybe you trade a DK Metcalf for a 3rd round pick. And you really plan on who you're going to pick in the 3rd round. And that might be what you do. Like that might be the play. Don't say if I can't get a 1st round pick, then I'm just hopeless. Maybe I can get a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. But again, it is that balance of how do you keep the skeleton team that you have to make sure that you don't get last place, but then you set yourself up for next year properly. I think you trade 2 of them. I mean, on your bench, I mean, when is Ricky? Ricky Parcell is hopeful to practice this week. So in the next couple of weeks, he might be back, which looks good. But he has a bye on 14. But that's a wide receiver that's coming back. I know you've been holding him as long as I've been holding Bucky. You got Deebo Samuel in the wings. You got a couple of wide receivers, a couple of running backs, but they're just not producing a lot of points. Or they're not very consistent. So, maybe they can fill in to at least get you by so that you can really duke it out in the last place. But I don't know, man. It's very hard. I don't envy you. It's a hard position to be in, and I'm sorry that you also have to deal with new fatherhood as well. But maybe while you're up at 3 a.m., you can start really weighing in who do you want to keep for the rest of the season, or who can you just send off as collateral for next season.
For sure. All right, moving on. We're going to the next one from the bottom in Tier C. We're going to something smells like Shaheed, Joel Redlinger. What's the outlook for Joel?
I mean, we're going from bleak to bleak because we literally talked about a few weeks ago that Joel has the potential. Joel has the potential to maybe clinch this playoff spot. And since he didn't clench the win against me when I made some key mistakes in my starting lineup, he's on a 3-loss streak. Currently at 3-7, one above Gordzilla, tied with the person that's technically above him, Caleb, Team Leslibre, and also tied with my ball sack Ertz, who is on the opposite trend. 3-win up streak. They've switched. But Sutton smells like Shaheed has scored 1,558 points out of a possible maximum 1,756 and has been scored points against 1,668. His upcoming matches, week 11, goes against Katie. Oof, that's a hard one. Up next in week 12, he goes against... Where is he? Oh, Lord. He goes against you, Mike. Oof, that's hard. Week 13, he goes against Tori, the sleeper. And week 14, he goes against Heather's Haterade. I mean, technically it's not as bleak as Gordon, but it's like, I mean, it's almost the same shade of gray. What do you think about his team? What do you think is his solution? How would you plan him out?
I think the biggest thing that Joel needs to really focus on is look at his team and look at who can I start to maximize points, because this week's loss against Caleb is brutal because it's only by 6 points that he loses.
And HN scored 51.
And HN scored 50, but Joel has the points on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has more than enough points on his team to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to maximize every single point he has. So he's got to do the best he can to look at the matchups. Who are they playing? Who are they going against? Who am I going to start? And he's got to get a lot of help. The one little sprinkle of brightness is he does play Tori. So he does have a chance to do a direct game against Tori, which can help his case. And when we get to Sean's team next, it'll be interesting to see who Sean plays in his 4 teams.
Yeah.
But Joel's remaining schedule is not as bad as Gordon's. But it's all good. So we'll see. We'll see what pans out, but he's got to maximize his team.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to think a little bit more negative at this point than
Okay.
you.
Tell me why.
Well, I think the loss to me was something that he should have won, and I think it was unlucky. I don't think it was because he made a mistake. I think it was just pure unluck, and that's what happened. That's the beauty of fantasy football. Sometimes you just get unlucky. I think the loss to Caleb is partially unlucky, but also you have the points on the bench that can take care of it. You are now 3 losses on the trot.
The reason why I'm not going to go with the unlucky route is because he does this well. I mean, yeah, he started Henderson, so I mean that's the right start. And Johnson, okay. I was going to roast him on Schultz not being in there because he does this trade for Schultz, then doesn't play him. But he started the right people. I mean, Johnson, It would have only picked him up 2 points. It's really the Aaron Rodgers boat. Well, no, Aaron Rodgers got 13.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers didn't do anything in that game. He was awful.
Yeah, but he still has the points, but it's just
still has the points, but it can still be unlucky. Regardless,
I guess you're right. Achan against the Bills scoring 50.
Yeah, it's unlucky. It's unlucky, and I feel for Joel because sometimes you can put out who you think, and statistically, per sleepers thing, the best possible team based on predictions. And then next thing you know, HAN scores 51 points, and Sutton only gets you 6. And you have Pierce on the bench who gets 21. Sometimes that just happens, and that sucks. But the reason why I'm kind of why I'm at the negative point of Joel is like your chances of making that playoff spot have come and gone. They have come and gone with your loss to Caleb. They have come and gone last week when you lost to myself. And then in week 8, you lost to, where are you? You lost to Sean. So you lost to Sean. You should have won against me, and you lost, which was unfortunate. And then you should have won against Caleb, and you lost. Those were the games that would have kept you up there. You're down here now, and unless upsets happen, you were against almost as hard of a team as Gordon, or next 4 matchups as Gordon. I would say the outlier is that you have to go against Tori, and Gordon has to go against Kevin. So it kind of comes to this point of like, if I'm going to tell Gordon it's now at the point where you need to start looking at the future, how can you sell certain players right now to prepare yourself for draft picks for next year, to prepare yourself healthily for next year, but also not making sure that you don't lose up and coming games. I need to say the same thing with you, because for the most part, you are in the exact same boat. You're just 1 win ahead, but you have the same hard teams, which means overall, same hard teams. Like I just don't think that you're going to make it through. So now it kind of comes down to the question. And the good news is, and why I think you're in a better spot than Gordon, and why you have that 1 win above, you have better people to sell. Who can you trade right now? Can you trade a Pierce? Can you trade a Shaheed? I know he's a part of your name. Can you trade Schultz? Can you go for a trade where you're just trading to the people who want to try to get that week 1 bye and get a 2nd round, get a 3rd round, get a 4th round? That might be the plan, because you still have Marvin Harrison Jr. on your starting lineup. You got the Derrick Henry. You got the Quinton Judkins. Like, you got the skeleton crew to make sure that you don't get last and you don't have to, do another forfeit 2 years in a row. So I would do the same thing. I would tell Gordon, look to the future, because I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say.
That's nothing against you. You just got unlucky.
I know it sucks.
It sucks,
Joel.
and I feel bad.
We say it every week. I just think we wanted Joel to really kill it this year, and it's just been.
I mean, his team by statistics.
Yeah, for sure.
Denver has one of the best defenses. Bo Nix has been a part of this Denver defense, who is leading the AFC West. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. Quinton Judkins has been a solid rookie pickup. Who's been probably one of the better rookie running backs compared to others. Marvin Harrison Jr. should be decent. We talked about Travion Henderson being like one of probably the number 1 running back in New England, and it's just like it's just been this boom or bust where like it's just so much volatility that he hasn't been able to really grip it by the horns and really steer it to where he needs to be. And I think a lot of that's just the unluckiness that he deals with all of this. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate, sure. But again, I think you got trade value, man. See what you can do so you can set yourself up next year.
All right, moving on to the final guy in Tier C. We're going to Caleb Leslibre, who won't even be able to watch this. But hey, what do you say? What do we see for the future for Caleb? Does he have any hope? Can he do anything? What's the outlook look for him?
Well, let's look at the outlook, because I think overall, let's just look at the outlook and let's do the assessment of who's below, what's the matchup look like below him, and what's the matchup above him as well. Currently, Team Leslibre getting the win over Joel, which cements us as kind of being negative over Joel. 3-7 as well, tied with the person above him, my ballsack Ertz. Only 1 win away from being tied with El Toro if El Toro loses, and El Toro is currently in that playoff spot. And currently tied with the person below him. Sutton smells like Shaheed. 1,587 points scored out of a possible 1,702, and has had 1,774 points scored against him, which is the most points scored against him in the league. So he is the most unlucky. Looking at his upcoming games in Week 11, Monsieur Caleb goes against El Toro. That's going to be a big game. Week 12, he's going against Katie. Week 13, he's going against Heather. And week 14, he is going against you, Mike. So again, it's bleak, but I would say overall, I don't even know. It's probably as hard as it's similar to Joel's. next 4. So maybe Joel has some chance to at least go up to third to last. But yeah, what do we think?
Well, I think I was trying to look for something positive to say. I can't. The thing that stinks for him is that he just has a brutal schedule to close out the season, and I think that obviously he's got to get the win next week against Tory, that's a big win.
If he gets
I mean,
the win against Tory, does he?
That might be the game of the week that the league is watching.
He has more. He technically right now has more points than Tory, so he would technically jump over Tory if he wins next week.
Yeah,
and if Sean loses, that means Caleb's in playoffs.
Wow,
who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So
who would have thought?
But here's the thing, though, is that Caleb's got to face 3 top teams to close the season out.
Yeah, facing Katie, Heather, and you, which is currently
okay.
fourth,
Well,
third,
I think
first.
And I mean, I don't even want to analyze his team. He's operating with a skeleton crew over here. I mean, I don't even know what's going on.
I mean, he would not have won if Etienne didn't score the 51 points, which makes me feel bad for Joel even more.
Yeah, I mean, he got a goose egg from Terry and still gets a win.
Terry, I don't even know if he's changing his team out because Terry's not playing in week 11. I don't know if that was a last minute call, but he never even suited up for week 11.
Yeah, but we're in week 10. We just finished week 10. Did he suit up
sorry,
for week 10?
I'm sorry, in week 10. That's what I meant.
He didn't suit up. I really don't think he's managing his team.
I mean, technically he had to because he put his tight end who was on bye off. So he did switch his team up.
Okay, so maybe he didn't even know. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just one of those things that I don't. This is whatever. But I mean, there's a chance that he gets in if he beats Tory, and Sean loses. He has the differential of points over them.
He has the differential.
So essentially, if he beats Tory this week, Sean loses this week, and then they both all just lose out the rest of the season, he's in.
Well, we have to see what Tory's games are up.
Yeah, so I think this is the time. I think we move on.
Yeah.
Because we go to the next grouping.
Because his team is really just, will Josh Allen, will David Etienne blow up? Yes.
Correct.
He gets the win. No, he gets the loss. That's really what it's come down to. And it's crazy how it's worked.
Yeah, so we're moving on to the penultimate group. The group that means the most. We're moving on to Group B, which is going to be Kevin, Katie, Tory, and Sean, the middle of the league.
Not in that order, but yes.
Not in that order. But we're going to that group in the middle of the league. So I think let's start at the top, and we'll work.
Well, should we go
work our way down?
Should we go to Tory next? Because
no. Let's end with that because that's where all the stuff's happening.
Okay.
So let's start at the top with Katie.
Katie,
and then we'll work our way down.
Our latest mom. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're happy for you. We're happy that your daughter already understands disappointment in the Green Bay Packers. I mean, it's just great.
I mean, if you could bring a child into that kind of like Green Bay Packer experience, what an indoctrination.
I know. It's just like, hey, welcome to the world. It sucks. Moving on. That's basically what you did. You gave birth on what was it, a Thursday, Friday? She got her first disappointment 3 days later. It's the resurrection of disappointment. It's biblical at this point. It's fantastic. Anyway, man. Katie, a.k.a. current team name Eliza Howard. How dare you? How very dare you use my own daughter against me? Although I do respect it. Really, team name is all you need is love. Currently in 4th place, tied with the person below her, Rev Kev, at 6-4, with only 1 loss on the trot right now to me. Take that. Currently scored this season 1,745 out of a possible 2,002 points, the second largest deficit in the league. Current points against 1,608. Which is the second least amount of points scored against somebody behind Tory. Upcoming games for Katie. Next week in week 11, Katie is going against Sutton Smells Like Shaheed, a.k.a. Joel. Into week 12, Katie is going against Caleb, Team Leslibre. Week 13, Katie goes against Gordzilla. And then week 14, she rounds it off with my ballsack Ertz, which overall I would put kind of into the same category as Heather. A fairly easy final 4 weeks to go out. Bottom four.
I think she wins out to go out. I think that's more than likely what's going to happen for her, which is big, because again, me and you are catching an L this week.
One of us, yeah.
One of us, and then I think we went out. So I think it's going to be interesting to look to see what Kevin's schedule is to end because not everybody's going to have a cream puff schedule. So Katie and Heather seem to have it. So it looks like Kevin's going to have a little bit more of a challenging schedule to finish out. And so the question is, can Katie move? I don't think Katie has the schedule or the things to line up to get to the bye week. I think Heather's the only one who can maybe get there, unless you and I's teams just absolutely fall apart. I don't see that happening. But I think Heather's the only one who's maybe vying for that bye week. But Katie could for sure creep up to spot 3 if Heather doesn't close out the season strong. But they both have schedules where they should win out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't see that not happening.
Yeah, I agree. And when it comes down to it, I think the only reason why she's not in contention for that bye week is really just because of the losses she's picked up so far. If she was at the same level as Heather at 7-3, there could be an argument to be made because the points differential is, well, actually the points differential is a little bit too much as well. So it kind of comes down to it. It's the points differential that's really not helping. Again, it's the second biggest gap between points scored versus the maximum amount that you could have gotten. So where could you have optimized in these past 10 weeks to where maybe that gap isn't as much and maybe you're closer to Heather. Maybe that gets you a win, and then you're in the conversation of, oh hey, maybe you're buying in for that bye week. But overall, the strengths of you are the running backs. We've talked about it. Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, absolutely solid. Even in a boring Green Bay Philly game, Josh Jacobs pulls up 24 points, which is absolutely solid. Davante Adams is coming out as a very beautiful option, as honestly kind of coming into a wide receiver 1. He's questionable right now. He picked up a little bit of an injury. But he should be good to continue onward. He is really kind of fitting in that nice mold. And that's kind of where afterwards it's kind of coming down. Keenan Allen is, the past 2 weeks have been really disappointing, and that's been the Chargers as a whole. And that's supposed to be your wide receiver 2. That's kind of getting scary. But again, Drake London is also trending up. So you might have a solid wide receiver 2 combo of Davante Adams and Drake London bringing you home. And then it really just kind of comes down to the flex play of like who in your flex between Keenan Allen, Slayton, Dubs, Mason, Austin, maybe Kincaid. Who are those options that are going to get you the most points to really get you those wins?
Yeah.
Is how you can really optimize.
I think Katie wins out the rest of the season. And I think for her to win the championship with the players she has, she's just got to have the right people blow up at the right time. And if she does that, then her team can score really well. Yeah. The Packers aren't going to have another game like that. That was abysmal. Whoa, you okay over there? Scared?
Ladybug attacked me.
So I think she wins out, and I think that her team, like you said, it's just she's got to start the right people at the right time, and they got to blow up. So
and Katie's done that before.
She has. I think it'll be interesting to see what Kevin's schedule looks like, and it'll play into what she has to do. So let's go ahead and move over to Kevin, because I want to see what his next 4 games are.
Now, see, Team Rev Kev, this is actually really interesting because she does relate to Katie, or he does relate to Katie a lot. Team Rev Kev, also 6-4 is Katie. Points scored, 1,699 points out of a possible 2,009 points. The biggest gap in the entire league. Kevin is officially the most unoptimized team in the league. And yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then points against 1,611, which is the third fewest points scored against, which has really been saving him, making sure that he stays in that 6-4 position on a double loss on the trot, looking to his up-and-coming games compared to the rival that he's dealing with, Katie. Week 11, he goes against my ball, Zach Ertz. Week 12, he goes against Gordzilla. Week 13, he goes against Mike's Magical Milkmen. Hard matchup. Week 14, final week, he is going against El Toro. A mixed bag of fights. So I think the path to, we have to see how Tori and Sean's teams look like. But I don't know if he's catching Katie. What do you think?
It's a mixed bag, but what I would say about Kevin's team is the same thing I said about your team earlier. I think he really potentially, and he's got some decisions to make. I'll say that first. But I think his team really benefits from Dan Campbell taking over the offensive play calling in Detroit. If Dan Campbell can get that offense humming like they were against his beloved Commanders, I mean, you got to start Jared Goff over Lamar Jackson. I mean, you get Jared Goff in there with Amar St. Brown, you start getting double points on those two. I mean, his team could be scary if Saquon comes into these colder months and becomes the running back that the Eagles need him to be for the playoff run. His team could be scary. So while he has a mixed bag, I think that his team potentially could be trending up, but he has some decisions to make. Also, looking back on this week, the Bills got blown out by the Dolphins and James Cook had 12 points. That's not happening again, I don't feel like. So, I think that, I mean, James Cook, his game log, that was the second lowest score of the season.
Yeah.
So, I don't think you're going to see that performance from James Cook throughout the rest of the season. So it is a mixed bag, but he could go 4-0. I think more than likely you're going to see a 2-2 performance from him. And I think you're going to see a 4-0 performance from Katie, which I think is going to solidify Katie in that number 4 spot. And I think we're going to see Kevin in the number 5 spot come the end of the season.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think overall, I mean, we can talk about, James Cook, that's a one-off performance. Pittman also had a very bad performance. So, that, talks about this, talks about all that. It doesn't matter. I already made fun of Kevin, for this week, having an unbelievable point gap between what he scored and what he actually could. I think he would have been the second highest score overall by only like 2 points if he would have put in the right players. But you saw that he has the maximum gap. So this isn't a one-off. This has been a consistent thing over the 10 weeks. And that's what we need to really talk about. The thing, like, Kevin is who we said he is. His team is good. I think if you look at the maximum amount of points he could have scored, let's see where he would stand if he actually would have done that. Based on just combining points, other people's points scored, he would be in third behind you and behind Heather. He would be above Katie and he would be above me. Actually, in the top 5, I scored the least amount. Or I have the least amount of maximum points I could have gotten.
Potentials,
yeah. Yes. Maximum points for at 1,997. He could have gotten up to 2,009. Now, again, give or take a little bit. So
what you're saying is Kevin's team is the most mismanaged team of the league.
What I'm saying is that Kevin is capitulating. My favorite word. Kevin, you really need... Listen, the sermons have been great. The sermon series have been fantastic. Maybe you need to cut 30 minutes off the end of the sermon series of you preparing for it and really start doing research on your own team, because I think that is where you are struggling, my friend. When it comes to that's where it comes down to it. But yes, I don't think Kevin needs to worry about dropping off and not making the playoffs. I think he's secured in the playoffs. I think he doesn't have to go against like you, me, Katie, and Heather in the next 4 weeks. I think he has some easy pick-me-up games that will easily secure him the playoff spot. But I also don't think he's anywhere close to getting a bye week. So it's like, I think it just kind of comes down to, you're going to have to get ready for week 1 of whoever you're going against for the playoffs, and just make sure that you put in the right players. Put in the right players. That's really what's holding you back, my guy. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, here we go. The part I've been waiting for.
The fun part.
We are getting down to it. So we got Tori and Sean battling for the final playoff spot. I say we jump down to Sean. He is trying to get in, and we will finish up with Tori trying to hold on. So let's start with our Cinderella story. Let's start with Sean. What's the next 4 weeks look like for him? What needs to happen for him to get into that final spot?
Let's just say for a quick second, who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that this man would be creeping in to playoff potential? But I'm happy for you. My ball sack Ertz, 3 wins on the trot, the highest win streak so far right now, currently in the CRFFL. Currently is at 3-7, tied with Team Leslibre and Team Sutton Smells Like Shaheed, and 1 point under El Toro, who is currently securing and holding that last playoff spot. My ballsack Ertz has scored 1,644 points out of a maximum possible 1,856, and scored against 1,731. Our good friend Sean's next 4 matchups are Week 11. He is going against Team Rev Kev. Week 12. He's going against Heather's Haterade. Week 13. He is going up against myself. And Week 14, he finishes off against Katie. A fairly hard matchup. But if you think about it, before you give me your analysis, Kevin is on a losing streak, and we've seen that he leaves points on the bench. Sean should have beaten me last time, but I got very lucky with a Tyreek Hill injury. Is there a chance that he could maybe go 2-2 in these next 4 matchups?
Yeah, I think it starts with this week against Kevin, obviously. He's got to win this game because he's getting Dak Prescott back off of a bye, playing against Las Vegas.
Ooh,
Monday night game in Las Vegas, nationally televised game. I mean, they're all nationally televised, but this game is marquee game. Only game on. So, I mean, that is huge. Also, Bijan going against division rivals Carolina, a weaker team. Bijan could go off. Very, very good chance that, as it stands right now, on Sleeper, he's projected to win. As it stands right now against Kevin.
To be fair, Pittman's on a bye.
I get it, but
to be fair,
I'm just throwing it out there. So, but who's he going to put in? Jerry Jeudy?
He would probably put in Williams.
Yeah. Would he with St. Brown? I mean, you're kind of like, really?
And his kicker is also on his bench. Remember, I mean, in reality, this kicker that Kevin has, I mean, Sean, you basically already lost. You've already lost. This is the best kicker ever. I would trade my, next 3 years of first rounders for this kicker if I were you. So, Sean, honestly, pack it up, buddy.
Yeah.
This damn kicker. I'll tell you, man.
So I think that he's got to win this week against Kevin, obviously. And I think that would be my advice to Sean. Take it 1 week at a time. Don't get over your skis and start looking super far ahead. Don't listen to any of this podcast about what we're pontificating on. You need to just win this next week, because I think for him to get into that spot, he does not have a head-to-head game against Tori. So he has to control what he can control, and he's got to win his games.
Yeah.
And so he's got to win this one. And the next three after it, he's gonna need a miracle. So I think we said last week or the week before when we did the breakdown, it's an extreme long shot. And I think when we look at Tori's games, we're probably gonna feel the same way that we felt about Heather getting that bye week. It's just she's gonna be this close, but it's not gonna happen. And that's how I feel about Sean.
Yeah.
He's right there, but the early losses are it's just too insurmountable. And I just don't. I think when we look at Tori's schedule, we're gonna see like, okay, I feel like she's gonna clinch that last spot. So that's my feelings on it.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, Sean, I will say this. I need to congratulate you. We said at the beginning of this when you beat Joel that you have 2 more games back to back where you can. These are the low-hanging fruits that you need to get, and you got them. And look at you now. You went from dead last to just below the playoff spot against your wife. Now, again, you might be sleeping on the couch if you really take that spot, but I think that's worth it. The couch might be comfortable, honestly. You know, blanketed in the throes of victory that you don't have to worry about being in a Waffle House. Honestly, I think it's worth it. You go for it. This might be where you do maybe something cheeky. Maybe you can trade something off with some of the lower people in the final trades. Just get a little bit more. Go to Joel and be like, hey, let me just get this little nugget that I can put in my flex just to make me a little bit stronger. Because, again, the team is pretty strong. Again, Jackson Dart, you're going to have to find a replacement for that. You got Dak Prescott again.
Well, he already weathered the bye.
He weathered the bye. Sorry, I was incorrect. Dak Prescott comes in, which is good. Chase Brown, who has been finally coming alive, is looking great. He can slot right back in, take over Kenneth Walker, who has really not been doing much. So, boom, you got Bijan and Chase Brown. That looks great. Justin Jefferson and Ibuka. Solid 2 pickups, honestly. And Justin Jefferson, who is he going against next week? He's going against the Bears. I think that is a potential for a lot of points to be had for him. So, I mean, it's crazy to see, but these top 5 of Dak, Bijan, Chase Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Egbuka, the man's starting to cook. That's why his meme last week was he's starting to cook in France, Ratatouille style. Like, the man is legitimately starting to cook, and it's looking good. Tori will still be my sleeper because I will never go off of her, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Except for the 1 week you did.
Except for the 1 week because she was acting a fool. And I'll be honest, I got some choice words for her for my analysis with her because I really think she made a costly mistake that I think would have gotten her the win against you. Right? How many points were? Sorry, I'm looking ahead. No, it wouldn't have made the difference. It wouldn't have made the difference. Never mind. Then I don't have choice words for her. Tori, you're fine. But yeah, I'm backing my horses on Tori because that's my sleeper. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if you just. I think you can snatch something from Kevin. I think you could snatch something from Katie. I think you could maybe snatch something from me because you almost did and you got unlucky. Let's be real. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if you get that spot. But maybe you can, again, look to Joel. Look to someone. See if you can do a trade for a draft pick next year. Secure that playoff spot. I think that might be worth it, possibly.
Yeah, for sure. All right, here we go. What does Tori have to do to stay in playoff contention? Very interested to see how the next 4 weeks look for her.
All right. So again, the person above, Kevin, mixed bag, but should be fine. Below, Sean and Caleb have hard, and Joel all have hard matches. So let's see what Tori's look like. El Toro 4-6, only team 4-6. Just coming off a loss against Mike's Magical Milkmen, but Mike, you are number 1, so were we expecting anything different? Has scored 1,558 points out of a possible 1,765 and has had 1,590 points scored against, which is the lowest amount of points scored against in the league. So she has been the luckiest, you could say, with the points against. Tori's upcoming matches in Week 11. El Toro goes against Caleb. must win to stay. Then El Toro goes against me. Oof. Then El Toro in week 13 goes against Sutton Smells Like Shaheed. And then in week 14, El Toro goes against Rev Kev. It's a mixed bag. I mean, let's just call it how it is. Tori has to win against Caleb. Tori has to win against Joel, no matter what. If she loses to either of those teams, she's out of playoff contention. I think she can. It's going to be hard, but I think she can. And I think to really secure it, she has to either beat me or beat Kevin.
Well, she has to lose those two teams, and Sean would have to win 3 of his 4.
I guess that's fair. So maybe Tori, maybe with that one win, because let's say Tori, let's say hypothetically Tori wins 2. If Tori wins 2, she's got it. She's in. Right? Because then if she wins 2, Sean has to win all 4.
Yeah, because she has a 1-win lead over him.
She has a 1-win lead. She wins 2. Sean, well, I guess technically Sean would have to win 3 and have more points against, which currently he does have.
He does. So Sean's got to win 3. For Tori to basically clinch, she's got to win 3.
She needs to win 3, but honestly, if she wins 2, and the 2 that she wins against is Joel and Caleb, I would say she's 95% locked in.
Oh, yeah, she's 95%. But the door is still cracked. For her to be able to clinch, she's got to win 3.
Yeah.
She's got to go 3 and 4 in these last games to clinch for sure.
100%.
But I think
that's
she's
possible?
I think it's a tall order, but I think she has an easier final 4 games than Sean.
I would agree. You know, we kept there are potential wins against Kevin. I think Tori was also close to beating me as well. And I think the only thing I'm nervous about is I feel like Sean's team is a lot more consistent now, which I would not have said 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, than Tori's. I think, like, I've said this every single week and I'll continue to say it. Like, AJ Brown, 3 points. I've been saying that he has been a boom or bust kind of guy.
So what are her 4 games? She's got Kevin.
She's got Caleb. Then she's got me. Then she's got Joel. Then she's got Kevin.
Yeah. I just don't think she's losing all 4 of those games.
She's not losing all 4. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I think really in a realistic world, she's got to lose all 4. Like, if we're just going like really late out there, I think she's got to lose all 4 for her to not get in. Because Sean's not winning all 4 of his. No way.
That's fair. And I guess
I think the highest upside Sean has is 3 and 4, and more than likely his highest upside, the higher probability is 2 and 2.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to say is, like, even if she did lose to like a Caleb or she lost to a Joel, like, let's say she loses to Caleb this week. I think we said that Caleb's schedule for the week out, like, I think Caleb and Joel both have hard weeks as well. So let's do a quick recap just to make sure. So Tori,
we already did. Did I know the lower tier teams? They all have hard schedules to close out the season.
Yeah, I'm just making sure Caleb's, because I couldn't remember Caleb's. Yeah, Caleb has it's Heather, it's Katie, and then it's you. So it's like, even if she loses like to Caleb or loses to Joel, they also have a hard matchup. So like Tori, I think for the most part, if I had to give a percentage of you getting in that last spot, I think just because you already have the 1-win lead over the other people, even though the points aren't really in your favor, and you have the easier matchup than anyone below you, I think you already are 75% locked in for this final playoff spot. And I think if you get 2 of those wins, I think it increases the 95% chance, and it really comes down to your husband's Cinderella story continuing to flourish. and he like goes on a 3-win streak and just absolutely unexpected. Just
Yeah.
you know,
And I think,
comes out of nowhere.
she's got CeeDee Lamb coming back this week coming up. He was on bye, so she's got him coming back into the lineup, you know. So yeah, I think she's going to be fine. I think she's, like we said, I think at the end of the day, she's going to be in the final playoff spot, and Sean's going to be just on the outside, just like this, looking in.
But honestly, I think we said this last week. If you wind up finishing 7th and you don't get in, like, you don't lose in the losers bracket to where you get last place, because in the end it's playoffs, who knows what happens. I think you say, you know what? I did the best. Like, I cut my losses. It happened. I'm preparing for next season. And you just take it and you run. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think there's only upsides.
It's a very competitive league.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that you got to be. I think Sean should, if he doesn't make it in, he should be happy with how his season finished out. I mean, him and Tori, honestly, they had so many injuries to battle.
Yeah.
Even Heather. I mean, they all overcame a lot of injuries to be very competitive in this league. So, but hey, at the end of the day, anything can still happen. We don't really know. This is all speculation. We could get on here next week, and this can be a completely different breakdown. The only thing that we do know is me and you are definitely in the playoffs, baby.
Definitely in the playoffs, baby. So instead of doing instead of the winners and losers of the week, because we really didn't break down the games and who won and who lost, let's do the current predicted standings. So here's my predicted standings from first to last. I think I think right now with where everything's going and our whole breakdown, I think this is what the table's going to look like. You're going to come into week 14, going into week 15 of the first playoff matches. I think you're going to be in first. I think Heather is going to get second. I think I'm going to secure third. Not Tori fourth. Katie fourth. Kevin 5th, Tori 6th, Sean 7th, Caleb 8th. Joel 8th, Caleb 9th, Gordon 10th.
I think that I would agree with you on everything you said, except I think you finished second.
You think so? I just think the easy matchup with Heather, I think I might lose a game or two. Like, I might go 2-2 and Heather will go 4-0. That's what I'm afraid of. Worst case scenario, I go 2-2, she goes 4-4. She beats me by 1.
Saying. I think you end up in second. I think Heather ends up in third. And I think everything else you said is the same for me.
Okay.
I don't think I would change anything on that. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Looking into week 11. Who is the matchup? So we have.
Oh, we already said who the matchup is. Wasn't it Caleb versus Tori?
Is it Caleb versus Tori, or is it you versus me for the first place?
I mean, I think you versus me is like fun.
It is fun.
But I think Caleb versus Tori is like, my matchups are Sean versus Kevin and Caleb versus Tori. I'm watching those games. I want to know what is going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at, when I pull the app up, I'm going to look at their scores before I look at mine. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild to think. Especially since the app automatically opens to your team playing.
I'm not going to look at it. I'm just going to switch right over. I'm going to switch right over to League. I'm going to hit League as quick as I can.
Hit League as quick as you can. I can respect that.
Because those are the games that I really want to see. Because Sean's got to win that game. And if Sean wins and Tori loses, things get fun. Things get way more fun.
I agree.
Those are the two games I'm looking at.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess I'll say the same thing. I think I think those two and also ours is good as well, because if one of us beats each other, I think that secures us getting one of the bye weeks.
Yeah.
By far. Because then we have
for sure.
Because then we have a little
one
bit
of
of
us one of us is going to beat the other one.
No, that's what I'm saying. Whoever beats the other one, I think guarantees at least the bye week.
I would agree.
Because if I beat you and I go above you by 1 score, even if I lose the next 3, I think I might at least get second. Like, it's one of those things. So it's like,
yeah, for sure. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this is a great breakdown.
We did.
Looking forward to seeing how the season ends, and it's been an awesome season. I hope you guys have enjoyed this switch up on the podcast. like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. We got to get up to 11 subscribers. We're at 10. We need to get to 11.
Who's going to be that lucky one?
Who's going to be lucky number 11? Hey, we're going to be doing a giveaway for whoever the 11th subscriber is.
What are we going to give away?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I mean,
fantasy advice.
Fantasy advice? You think that's worth a sub? Oh my goodness. Too big for your britches, my guy.
Too big. All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Out.
Appreciate it. And remember, no matter what, whether you're close to winning, close to losing, just know that the boys are back. They never left, and they're going to be in the playoffs.
Woo!
Peace.
Hell yeah.
Football, 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 football.